All right. Uh, okay, so anyways, as we go through and edit files or whatever, when we're done, basically I'll hit the P key, which is pick. So we'll flag it with a white flag. So it flags it as picked. And that's one of the key things that I key off of in my smart collection. But we'll kind of get to that a little bit later. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and import some files. So I should have on my desktop, what's the name of this place? 10 watt views. Alright. So I got some photos here. I have a couple of presets that I'm not quite sure if we sent over to you or not.
Mm-hmm.
They're easy to do if you don't. One is lens correction. So I always want to import my photos with lens correction on. Basically, that will take care of the warping and all that stuff, of any of the wide angle stuff.
Okay.
So just do that on import and it presets everything. Second thing is I do metadata every time. We have a standard set of metadata out there, and every time you import you have to change the metadata. And basically, it's just some standard codes in there. Has our information in it as far as BTW images, and then has just basically the address. So for here, sublocation, I'll go ahead and put the address in. I'll change the city, which I think this was Stafford, Virginia. And for the title, I'll also put in the address. And for the job identifier, I usually put in the last name of the agent. Chin. So hit done, save that. So what we do is we have a bunch of presets that are the metadata also. And you just have to edit it every time that you go in. Set it to BTW images, change all that stuff, done. So that when you hit import, so I got all these, I'm going to import them all. If you look at any of these, you're going to see on the side here, all that metadata is filled in with the title, all that other kind of crap that was in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the meantime, I'm going to create a smart collection. So I'm going to name it the same as the address. I'm going to change this to pick flag. So I want, in my smart collection, I want anything that's flagged. And then I'll add another one by hitting the plus over here and say anything the title contains all of. And usually I do all this when I have it in my clipboard, so I can just paste it everywhere. That way it's kind of the same thing everywhere. So basically this is going to give me all the photos that I've picked that have the same title. So as I go through and edit this, so if I went through here, pick, here, hit pick, here, hit pick, down here under, Muse, they all just show up. So then that way when I'm dead editing, I have all my photos that are good.
Okay.
So it's just an easy way to go through and kind of gather up all the photos that you need to export. Okay. So for this one, I want to undo that. Alright, so you've fused before, right?
I just watched Connor do it real fast. First, he, I guess, stacks them, right?
Yeah.
Stacks. And he was saying it's all about learning keyboard shortcuts.
Right. It is kind of, but it's really easy. 12 seconds is the key. So what I'll do is I'll Command A, select all my photos. I'll go under Photos, Stacking. I'll auto stack them by capture time. So my auto stack is set at 12 seconds. I'll hit stack, and it automatically went through and said anything that was taken within 12 seconds of each other, create a stack.
Okay.
So then I want to just collapse them. So then I usually go through and make sure that I got, like here I got fives, fives, fives. I unstacked my exteriors. So click and then shift and click over here, and then Command Shift G.
Okay.
Command G will group them or stack them. Command Shift G unstacks them. So basically, before I set fusing on these, I want to unstack the exteriors. Alright, so I got five, fives, fives. There's one I missed. Command Shift G. Fives. 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 Now you can see here's a 4 and one that's unstacked. It's because that was like an extremely long exposure. So that's why you go through and check. So I'll just select both of those and just Command G. Change those into fives.
I see.
So right now there's 5 photos stacked into each one of those.
Is that because it takes more than 12 seconds to write the image to put the image to the card or whatever?
I don't know if it's the writing to the image or if it's actually just the long exposure itself. The last exposure was probably 30 seconds, and the exposure before that was probably 15, and between the 15 to the 30-second one is over 12.
Okay.
So, get rid of those exteriors. So basically then all I do is Command A, select them all, plug in extras, blend. Batch mode will go through and find all the stacked photos. Here we click append and put a dash fused at the end of it. Your format's TIFF, 16-bit components, LZW for the compression, and Adobe RGB. Re-import into Lightroom. I'm not quite sure how much of this is default. I know this dash fused isn't, but it's also something that we key off of when we develop. These settings don't change. Auto align, you don't need this clicked. Because you got a 6D, you should never really bump the camera during the shoot, so it's fine. And then that's basically it. Did you get oh, and then just hit infuse and we'll run. So it's going to go out and blend all those photos.
Okay.
This is the registration code if you don't have it. I think that's about it. You can
What is the register? Is it really long?
yeah. Let me
Oh, okay.
Michael. All right. So basically, those will come back and they'll re-import themselves into Lightroom. And I don't think I have any that are done yet.
They'll be re-imported as the fused images.
Yeah, and they'll say something something dash fused dot tiff. They'll come in as TIFF files. So then what I usually do is I set up, I'll filter up here, any searchable field contains the word fused. And that will give me all mine that I need to do to develop. And I'll also set the attribute to give me all the ones that are unflagged. So, say for these, and the reason why I like that, I got fused on the end, and I got the unflagged ones, so that as I go through and develop them, and I flag them, it disappears and goes on to the next one. As I flag it, it disappears, goes on to the next one.
I see. But you typically flag it after you are done editing it?
Yeah. I mean, after you're done, aligning it, doing your white balance. Then I would flag it. And P on your keyboard is the flag key. So other than that, you just wait, and however long your computer takes to fuse them in that, they'll all import. A lot of times what I'll do is, so for this one, if I have the time and I'm waiting and your computer can handle it, I'll go through